to another day of Vlogmas. Today we have a really fun video and something that I'm super excited to film. This has been requested in the past and I think that it would just be a fun change of pace. So today we're going to be talking about time management and how to stay organized and how to juggle everything. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So I got inspiration for this video because recently there has been a lot of really fun things going on. So I'm obviously in school, so we just had finals, and then obviously I've been posting every single day on YouTube, and then also juggling everything with the new merchandise and learning how to work with that and trying to ship everything and working on my website. So there's a bunch of fun projects, but with that it definitely comes with the task of managing your time well so you can make sure that you're getting everything done on time, and then also making sure that the quality of your work is still really good. And I think time management is something that I have worked on and definitely struggled with in the past, and it's always something that you can improve upon, and it's definitely a skill, and it's like I look at it as like a muscle that you need to keep improving, and sometimes you forget about it and then other times you give it more attention. So I thought that it'd be fun to just film a video, and I know that there's been videos like this in the past, but I recently just kind of reconnected with time management, and I just went onto Google and searched different tips and skill sets on how to improve your time management, and I actually found just a very basic chart that I printed out and that I've been keeping in my agenda so I can at the end of the week kind of revisit it and make sure that I'm hitting all of the different points. And so I thought it'd be really fun to share it with you guys because we're all kind of, even if we're not in the same age necessarily or going through the same things, time management is still something that we can all share at improving on. Okay, so here's our visual. So I printed this out and I just fold it up like I said, and I keep it in my agenda. So quickly, I will leave this down below, so if you want to print it out as well, I think it'd be really just a good resource to have. So it just says time management tips, and it just goes through 7 different steps on how to manage your time well, how to plan accordingly, how to set goals, and how to make sure you're getting all of your tasks done well. And I'm in no way an expert whatsoever, but again, I just thought that it would be fun to share and talk about it. So I'll just go through the steps really quickly, but the first is to set goals correctly, and I think that that can sometimes be the easy part, is to set the goals, but it's all about like the follow through. And I know with me, I always want to do a million different things, and I always have these like big ideas, but it's actually more about the follow through, which is more important than even setting your goals. Okay, the next step is to prioritize wisely, and I am someone who will like make my whole list and then just do the easy stuff first, but really I know that that's not the main priority. So I think making a list and then a list within a list of what's the most important thing and getting those hard things done first, because it'll make you feel so much better, because then those easy things you can kind of do, you know, at a different time when you don't have to have as much focus. So that's how I think of that. Number 3 is to set a time limit, and this is really good. I think blocking your time out and then giving yourself breaks is also a great idea. So I am someone who likes to go and like take a break and reward myself with coffee. So also like giving yourself little rewards at those time breaks can be beneficial as well, because then if you're sitting down, you're like, I'm gonna just do this like for 8 hours straight. No one likes to do that. But if you set time limits for like 45 minutes, that's way easier, and you can see the end in sight, and then you can check your phone, you can go grab a coffee, maybe like walk around a little bit. And so there's nothing wrong with giving yourself rewards for doing things. And then I kind of just talked about it, but the 4th one is to take breaks between tasks. The 5th one is to organize yourself. I know that something my mom always talks about is if her space isn't organized, then she like can't go about what she needs to do. So making sure that you're sitting at a clean desk, or that your room is put together, or wherever you are, just making sure that it's already organized so what you're focusing on can be the only thing that you're working on. The 6th one is to remove non-essential tasks. So this is just means like delegating, or if you're, depending on what stage you are in your life, obviously if you're in a job, if there's something that you need to complete, if you're able to hand it off to someone else, that frees up time for you. Or if you're in school, I don't really think that delegating would be as easy to do because it's your own work, but just kind of applying this to whatever stage you are and taking it as with a grain of salt if this works for you. If it doesn't, for me, the delegating thing doesn't really work necessarily, because if it's my homework or my schoolwork, like I need to do it. But sometimes like for filming, I can like ask my mom for help, which is kind of a form of delegation. And then number 7 is to plan ahead. So for me, I am someone that thinks that things are going to take a shorter amount of time than they do, which is always kind of my issue. And so I just always have to factor in more time for certain tasks so that I don't get overwhelmed, because when I get overwhelmed, I start to shut down, and then nothing gets accomplished whatsoever, and then you're wasting even more time. So planning ahead is always a huge thing, and I think giving yourself more time than you need to complete something is really beneficial, because then when you have all this extra time, time, you feel great about yourself. So like, I know for me, if I'm just relating it back to my life, and then maybe you can think of scenarios in your life, like it'll give you inspiration for planning ahead. That doesn't necessarily mean like if I have something due on Tuesday, I mean it does, but like if I have something due on Tuesday, I have to do it on Friday. I'm thinking more big picture things, especially if there are things in your life that you want to do that get you ahead. So for example, for me, I want to do another line of merchandise. So right now I am already thinking and planning for 2 or 3 months in advance of what's going to happen, because I know that it's going to take a while. There are a lot of steps into the process. Quality of the items are going to be so much better if I start right now. And even though I'm like right in the thick of the busy brunching merch and still getting shipments out for that, and you know, having another pop-up shop in a week or so, I am already looking like ahead of into the next line, into the next phase of things, because I want to do another one. I want to keep the momentum going, and I want to make sure that it's the best that it can be. So I think sometimes we love instant gratification. I know I love instant gratification, especially people my age, like if you're in college or high school, but what I've gotten a lot better at is like looking at the long-term goal and realizing that in 2, 3, 4 months you're going to be so much happier that you did what you did right now. And this can be applied to anything. This can be applied to like an exercise goal. If you're working out, you will see results. You're not going to see results the next day. You're going to see results in a couple months. Okay, next I'm going to talk about things like agendas and planning and calendars. So I'm just sharing what works for me personally. Obviously there are a ton of different ways to stay organized, and even people in my family have different ways of doing so. I know my older sister Claire is one of the most highly efficient and organized people I know, and she blocks everything out on her computer. I'm someone who likes to write things down on paper, so I have always used an agenda, and this is the one that I've used for this year. It's the Day Designer Planner, and previously I had heard about it, but I was like, it just seems like a lot of work. The Day Designer Planner is fantastic. Like, please sponsor me because it's amazing. It has your full day laid out, and I've maybe mentioned this in videos before, but on the right side it has your to-do list, and then on the left side it goes through a full day, like hour by hour, which is great because you can time block, and then you can also make your to-do list on the other side, and it has a bunch of other components that I personally like. It also has a little quote, which is really encouraging, and then it has today's top 3, which is kind of what I was mentioning before on that chart with like prioritizing what you need to get done. So you're able to write the most important things up at the top, which I really like as well, and then it has like notes. So it has a bunch of, it does a great job at dividing everything up. I think that it's really perfect for that, especially if you're busy and you have a bunch of things going on, just not only school, but other things, extracurriculars, stuff like that. Day Designer is fantastic. Okay, so this is just a system that works for me, but I thought that I would share because I just showed you my agenda. So what I start off by doing is making a list, and I think that even if you do have a million things going on, making a list of 50 things is not really going to work because you're not going to get 50 things done in a day. You might, maybe you have certain days like that, but for an everyday, like consistent lifestyle, it's not productive to just list 50 things and then have a panic attack at the end, which is sometimes what I do, and honestly you might need that as well. But what I like to do is think, okay, 10 items we're gonna do today, or 8 items I'm gonna put on my to-do list. And then from there, I go to the hour by hour list, and I take what I've just written in my to-do list and I put it hour by hour. So the first thing is gonna take me 2 hours, the second thing is gonna take me 30 minutes. And so then I time block my day on the left side so I know, okay, this is what I need to do and this is how I'm going to go about doing it. And then I'll prioritize what's the most important thing on my to-do list on the top with the little 3 checklist. And again, Day Designer is so accommodating, and they laid it out really nicely in a way that works perfectly for me. And then that's just how my system goes, is I write down my to-do list, I time block it out, and then I put down what I prioritize the most. And then I also do like taking advantage of the full month calendar. This is January, so I don't have anything written down, but this is good, like long-term goals. Maybe if there's like big events that you have, I use this section for that. I don't write down like every single thing that I'm doing each day, but if there is stuff like, mostly I've been writing stuff about busy brunching, YouTube, and finals when I had, so if I know, okay, we need to restock on this day, that way we can plan ahead, so I'm like making sure that we have everything in line, or if I'm going to do like a flash sale in a week, I see that on my calendar, so I know that I have to make notes on my day-to-day agenda and lists that I need to be like promoting that or stuff like, so things that are a little bit more working ahead and bigger items in your life. Also, this is a new system that I have just implemented and that I'm still trying to improve upon, so I don't want to make it seem like I've done this for years and this is how it works. No, this is something that I am still trying to work on as well and get better at, because I know that there are serious areas of improvement that I can work on. And so I then do that for each day, but I plan out the whole week like that, because for the most part I know what I have to get done in a week. It's not just like, oh, I wake up, like, what do we have to do? I make this list. Like, I know for the most part Monday through Friday what I need to do, and so I sit down and I do that for each day. I write my to-do list, I time block it out, and then I prioritize it. And again, this is a new system. Recently it's really been working, and even if you don't have a day designer, I'm not saying like go buy the day designer, that's the only way you're going to be productive. Obviously not. You can apply this to any agenda, or you can just go and get a piece of paper and write this down. But obviously, you know, I really like cute things, so it makes it a lot more fun. Okay, next I want to talk about the other thing in my life that helps me stay really organized and that I used all the time, and this is my iPad. And I got this iPad, I think like 2 years ago. I didn't use it at all for some reason. I only used it to edit, well, I didn't use it not at all, but I only used it to edit pictures and maybe like to watch a movie in bed, honestly. But then this year, for some reason I was just like, I can't keep getting like 9 notebooks. I just want it in all one place, probably because I was so virtual and everything was like all over the place. I just needed it to be a little bit more cohesive, so I really took advantage of my iPad. I also got a really cute case from Casetify, links in the description box. Anywho, but what I love about my iPad is the note-taking abilities. So I use Notably to take all my notes. I think my dad told me that he used it and he really liked it. So what's nice is and you probably, everyone watching this has probably seen it, so I'm not, again, this is not like groundbreaking things that I'm telling you, but I just figured I'd explain it. So on the left side, you just have all of your notes and you can divide it up, and it's nice because it gives you a different color. So for this semester, I just did all of my classes, and then I also had like a file for pop-up shop and just like a random file for to-do if I just wanted to make a to-do list on my iPad. And then it's nice because you can just go in to each, and then you have all of your notes and it dates it. And I have a really fun system where I use colors and highlighters, and I try to make it as interactive as possible, again, because I'm very visual and I like colors. So this is an example of a list that I made. I made like a Vlogmas calendar, so I just like wrote out every single date and then what video that I'm going to be posting. And obviously sometimes it changes just if things come up, but it's good to just have like an overall outline of it. So I use my iPad for a bunch of different things. I use it for school, I use it for extra things like YouTube, and then I still use it to watch TV and to edit pictures. But now we're being more productive with it. The next thing that I think is really important for time management is routines. And I know that that's so simple, but having a routine in your life that you can always fall back on is kind of like the backbone of just being organized in general. And I think something that I struggle with is when I'm at school, I'm in an environment where it's like all routine, and I know that I'm there for school, I'm there to be productive, I'm there to get things done. So it's really easy to have a routine, but then maybe when you come home for break, I mean, obviously it's still break, so you want to be relaxing, but even if you guys are virtual and you're at home, it can be difficult because you're not in like a school environment. So creating a routine that, again, is attainable, that works, but definitely figuring out what it is in your life that you need to accomplish and then working it into an attainable routine, not something that's crazy where you're waking up at like 6 in the morning and then you work. I mean, you could do that, that would probably be great, but I'm just saying, I know it's the winter time, we're getting around finals and break, people can be really tired, kind of burnt out, so just figuring out a system that works for you and something that you can actually do, because even when I've come home and then when I was like doing my finals and still taking my classes at home, I made a system here that was easy and that worked. Like, I got up at a reasonable hour, I had my coffee, I would do something easy in the morning, and then I would maybe work on another project, like still in my pajamas, and then get dressed at a certain time and then make sure that I get everything else done. So if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and if you want another video like this, then just leave it in the comments down below and we can continue doing this. So until next time, which is tomorrow, I will see you in my next video. Bye everyone!